The silver probe drifted silently through Earth's upper atmosphere, invisible to human radar. Inside, Zartik flexed his 6 digits as he studied the data streams. As chief xenobiologist of the Galactic Survey Corps, he had classified over 300 planets in his career. Earth would be just another entry in the vast catalog of worlds. Such primitive technology, Zartik muttered, his outer membrane rippling with mild disgust. They still burn fossil fuels. Their vehicles barely reach their own moon. His assistant, Lieutenant Vexera, moved closer to the viewing screen. Unlike his superior, Vexera found the blue planet fascinating. But sir, look at their rate of advancement. From basic flight to space travel in less than a century. Zartik waved his hand dismissively. Many species advance quickly at first, then plateau. These humans spend more resources fighting each other than exploring space. The probe's sensors captured images of cities, highways, and military bases. It recorded television broadcasts, radio signals, and internet traffic. Every aspect of human civilization was measured, categorized, and assessed for potential threat level. Physical assessment complete, announced the ship's computer. Humans possess no natural armor, minimal sensory range, no offensive biological weapons, and limited lifespans. Zartik nodded in satisfaction. As expected, low threat designation confirmed. Vexera frowned, his skin turning a deeper shade of blue. Sir, with respect, I noticed some unusual adaptations. Their endurance exceeds many Class 3 species, and their problem-solving abilities are irrelevant without the technology to pose an interstellar threat. Zartik interrupted. The classification system is clear. They cannot reach nearby star systems. They have no energy weapons. Their strongest military powers remain divided by primitive cultural differences. Vexera wanted to argue further but knew his place. Still, something about these humans bothered him. They showed remarkable adaptability, and their unusual habit of bonding with other species, keeping animals as companions rather than food or tools, suggested a capacity for connection across biological divides. Such traits were rare in the galaxy. Final classification, the computer prompted. Zartik didn't hesitate. Earth. Low threat. Minimal spacefaring potential. Note their tendency towards self-destruction. Mark for standard follow-up in 50 years. The classification was transmitted instantly to the Galactic Registry, where it would guide all official interactions with Earth. Zartik had no way of knowing that his routine assessment would prove to be the greatest error in the history of the Survey Corps. As the alien probe completed its mission, astronaut Jack Miller floated inside the International Space Station, his eyes fixed on a computer screen showing unusual data patterns. "You seeing this, Linda?" he radioed to Earth. Dr. Linda Carter sat in NASA's control room, her brow furrowed as she studied the same pattern. As the agency's top astrophysicist, she recognized something extraordinary when she saw it. "I'm seeing it, Jack. Definitely not natural." The signal appeared for only 3 minutes before vanishing. It came from the edge of Earth's atmosphere, a location where nothing should be orbiting. "Should we report this through channels?" Jack asked. Linda hesitated. Strange signals meant paperwork, committees, and months of bureaucracy. By then, whatever caused it would be long gone. "Not yet," she decided. "Let's get Sam to look at it first." Sam Wright was the closest thing NASA had to a genius. Officially, he worked in engineering. Unofficially, he solved problems no one else could. 3 hours later, the 3 colleagues connected on a private channel. "It's artificial," Sam confirmed after analyzing the data. "But unlike anything in our database." "Meaning?" Jack asked. "Meaning it's not one of ours," Linda said quietly. "And if it's not ours?" None of them needed to finish the thought. Something non-human had visited Earth's orbit, undetected by global defense systems. While Zartik's probe left the solar system, confident in its assessment of a harmless planet, 3 humans began an investigation that would change everything. The galaxy had overlooked humanity's greatest strength, curiosity in the face of the unknown. 2 years later, when the harvesters arrived in Earth's orbit, they came expecting easy conquest. After all, the official registry marked this world as low threat. It was a classification the galaxy would soon regret. The harvester ship emerged from hyperspace with a flash of blue light. Commander Dres stood on the bridge, his scaled skin reflecting the glow of Earth on the main screen. His species had conquered dozens of worlds marked low threat in the galactic registry. Earth would be no different. "Beautiful planet," said his second-in-command. "Rich in minerals, water, and organic material." Dres nodded. "The survey data suggests minimal resistance capability. Prepare a small landing force. Standard resource acquisition protocols." In the harvester culture, efficiency was everything. Why waste a full invasion fleet on primitives? The ship's computer selected Wyoming as an ideal first landing site. Low population density, abundant natural resources, and isolated enough to establish operations before the natives could organize a response. 12 hours later, 3 harvester landing craft descended through Earth's atmosphere under cover of darkness. They touched down in a remote valley surrounded by mountains. The aliens emerged, confident in their superior technology and the low-threat classification that promised easy conquest. Sheriff Kate Walsh was driving her usual night patrol when she saw the strange lights in the sky. At first, she thought they might be meteors, but meteors didn't move like that. She radioed the station. "Jerry, I'm checking out something strange near Pine Ridge. Send backup if I don't call in within 30 minutes. Kate drove toward the valley, her truck's headlights cutting through the darkness. When she reached the ridge overlooking the valley, she killed the engine and lights. What she saw below made her blood run cold. Creatures unlike anything she'd ever seen were unloading equipment from 3 craft that certainly weren't from Earth. Their skin gleamed like metal in the moonlight, and they moved with an unsettling grace. Kate snapped photos with her phone, then backed away slowly. This was way above her pay grade. Within hours, the U.S. military had established a perimeter around the valley. Colonel Frank Daniels, who had served in 3 wars, now faced an enemy from beyond the stars. He studied the reconnaissance photos with a grim expression. "They're setting up some kind of mining operation," he told his team. "We've counted only 27 aliens. Their weapons appear energy-based." "Why so few?" asked a young lieutenant. Colonel Daniels shrugged. "Maybe it's just a scouting party, or maybe they don't think they need more to handle us." The first military engagement with the aliens went poorly. Conventional bullets bounced off their armor. 3 helicopters were shot down by energy weapons. The aliens advanced, seemingly unstoppable. But humans are nothing if not adaptable. Kate Walsh, who knew the valley like the back of her hand, guided a small team through a network of caves that emerged behind the alien position. They couldn't penetrate the alien armor, but they could disrupt their operations. Meanwhile, Alan Garcia, who taught chemistry at the local high school, was working with military engineers to analyze fragments of alien material recovered from the battle site. "The molecular structure changes when exposed to certain acids," Alan explained, mixing chemicals in a makeshift lab. "I think we can create something that will eat through their armor." By the 3rd day, humans had improvised. Kate's knowledge of the terrain allowed soldiers to trap several aliens in a narrow canyon. Alan's chemical mixture proved effective against the alien armor when delivered via modified fire trucks. Commander Dres couldn't believe what was happening. These primitives were adapting to harvester technology at an impossible rate. His landing party had lost almost half its members to creatures that, according to the registry, could barely reach their own moon. He sent an urgent message to the harvester fleet waiting in orbit. Assessment incorrect. Humans employing unexpected tactics. Local knowledge of terrain providing strategic advantage. Request reinforcements immediately. On the harvester mothership, the fleet commander read Dres's report with disbelief. How could primitives be defeating their advance team? He ordered the deployment of the main invasion force. Clearly, the Galactic Survey Court had made a serious error in their classification of Earth. As night fell over Wyoming, Colonel Daniels watched the skies with worried eyes. The first engagement had been difficult enough. If more ships were coming, Earth would need more than improvised weapons and local knowledge. They would need a miracle, or the kind of ingenuity that humans displayed when backed into a corner. News of the alien presence spread across the globe like wildfire. Panic was expected. Chaos was predicted. Instead, humanity surprised even itself. Within days, the world's nations formed an unprecedented alliance. Old enemies set aside decades of conflict to face this new threat. Scientists shared discoveries that would have been closely guarded secrets just weeks before. Engineer Olivia Rice stared at the alien device recovered from the Wyoming battlefield. The military had brought it to her lab in New Mexico after hearing about her work on experimental energy systems. "It's like nothing I've ever seen," she told her team as they carefully opened the casing. "But the principles make sense if you look at them the right way." Olivia had always seen connections where others saw only chaos. Now, as she studied the alien power source, she began to understand how it manipulated energy in ways human science had only theorized about. Across the country, physicist Dr. Grave Howard led a team analyzing the aliens' communication systems. 3 days without sleep had left him with bloodshot eyes and a perpetual coffee mug in hand. "They're using quantum entanglement for instant communication," he explained to military officials. "But their encryption is based on mathematical principles we've been studying for years. We can break it." What would have taken humanity decades to develop was being reverse-engineered in weeks. The desperation of survival proved to be a powerful motivator for innovation. In orbit, Lieutenant Vexera watched these developments with growing alarm. After the classification error became apparent, he had been assigned to monitor Earth while the Galactic Council decided how to respond. What he saw astonished him. "They're adapting our technology at an impossible rate," he reported to his superiors. "The humans have already replicated basic elements of harvester energy weapons. Their grasp of theoretical concepts is far beyond what their development level suggested." His warnings were noted but not prioritized. After all, many species showed surprising resistance when first contacted. It was merely a temporary setback for the harvesters, who had never failed to conquer a world once they set their sights on it. Meanwhile, Linda Carter's team had made their own breakthrough. The strange signal they had detected before the invasion now made perfect sense. "It's their cloaking technology," Linda explained to Jack Miller via secure video link. Jack had returned from the space station to join Earth's defense efforts. "Every time they engage their cloaking devices, there's a specific energy signature. We can detect their invisible ships." Sam Wright, working alongside them, had already built a prototype detector. "It's rough," he admitted, adjusting the device's settings. "But it works. We can see what they don't want us to see." As the detector came online, the room fell silent. The screen showed not just the few harvester ships they had observed with conventional radar, but dozens more hidden in Earth's orbit. An invasion fleet was assembling, far larger than anyone had suspected. On the harvester command ship, Commander Drez prepared his forces for a full-scale attack. The humans had proven surprisingly resilient, but they were still primitives facing a spacefaring empire. The outcome was inevitable. "Target their major population centers," he ordered. "Overwhelm them with numbers. They may have clever tactics, but they cannot stand against our full might." The harvester fleet moved into position, unaware that their every movement was now being tracked by Linda's team, unaware that Olivia Rice had already developed countermeasures based on their own technology, unaware that Dr. Howard had broken their communication codes. Most dangerously, they remained unaware of humanity's greatest weapon, adaptability. While the harvesters had conquered many worlds, they had never faced a species that could evolve their tactics and technology so rapidly. Lieutenant Vexera sent one final warning to the Galactic Council: request immediate intervention. Human adaptation rate exceeds all known parameters. This is no longer a simple harvesting operation. If they master our technology, They will not stop at defense. His message was filed away, one more report among thousands. By the time the Council realized its importance, it would be too late. The sky lit up as harvester ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Their energy weapons carved glowing paths through the clouds as they descended toward major cities. Commander Drez watched from orbit, certain this overwhelming show of force would break human resistance within days. He was wrong. As the first wave of ships approached New York, they met something unexpected. A shield of energy that matched their own technology. Olivia Rye's team had adapted the alien power systems into defensive barriers that now protected key locations. "The shields are holding," Olivia reported from her control center beneath the Pentagon. Sweat beaded on her forehead as she monitored power levels. "But we can't keep this up forever." Around the world, similar shields protected other cities. It wasn't a perfect defense, but it bought precious time. Colonel Frank Daniels stood before a room of soldiers from a dozen countries. Some had been enemies just weeks ago. Now they were humanity's Special Forces team. "We know their ships, thanks to the data from Linda Carter's team," Frank said, pointing to holographic displays of harvester vessels. "We know their weapons, thanks to Dr. Howard's analysis. Now we take the fight to them." The plan was audacious. While the aliens expected humans to cower behind their shields, Frank's international team would board a harvester ship. Sheriff Kate Walsh, who had trapped aliens in Wyoming, had developed tactics that exploited the aliens' overconfidence and rigid thinking. "They always follow the same patterns," she explained. "They never expect you to attack directly because they think we're too afraid." Sam Wright had created special equipment for the mission. His EMP devices were specifically calibrated to harvester systems, designed to disable rather than destroy. "We need their ship intact," he reminded the team. "And preferably some of them alive for questioning." As the strike team prepared, something unexpected happened across the planet. Civilians joined the fight in ways no military had planned. In rural Iowa, farmers modify tractors with salvaged alien tech, creating machines that could disrupt harvester ground forces. In Tokyo, teenage hackers discovered weaknesses in alien communication systems. In Brazil, indigenous guides led soldiers through rainforests to ambush alien mining operations. The harvesters, used to conquering worlds through overwhelming force, found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to be everywhere at once. Jason Kim was only 17, a high school student with a talent for computers. When harvesters landed near his hometown in Oregon, he didn't run. Instead, he gathered his friends from the coding club. "Their communication uses patterns," he told them, showing the alien signals he'd recorded on his modified radio. "It's not that different from programming languages. If we can understand it, maybe we can speak it too." Within hours, Jason's team had created a program that sent false orders to harvester ground troops. Aliens marched in circles or returned to their ships, confused by commands that seemed to come from their leaders. On the harvester command ship, Commander Drez faced a mutiny. His officers couldn't understand how primitives were countering their technology so effectively. "This defies all protocols," his second-in-command argued. "We should withdraw and request a full Galactic Council assessment." "Retreat is not an option," Drez insisted. "They are just clever animals. They cannot sustain this resistance." At that moment, Colonel Frank's team breached the hull of a harvester troop carrier. Using tactics developed by Kate Walsh and equipment created by Sam Wright, they overwhelmed the surprised aliens in minutes. For the first time in recorded history, a harvester vessel was captured intact by a target species. As Frank's team secured the ship, Dr. Howard and Olivia Reyes joined them, eager to study alien technology directly. Commander Drez received the news with disbelief. It shouldn't have been possible. No low-threat species had ever taken a harvester ship. His communication to the Galactic Council was no longer confident but desperate. Classification catastrophically wrong. Humans are not primitive. They are nightmares. As the message traveled across space, the Council remained unaware that humans were already deciphering the ship's navigation systems. Earth was no longer just defending. It was preparing to take the fight beyond its own solar system. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council fell silent as the recordings played. Hundreds of alien diplomats from across the galaxy watched footage of humans fighting harvesters. Many had never heard of Earth before today. Now they couldn't look away. The council leader, an ancient being with crystalline skin, raised a hand to pause the recording. "Is this verified?" she asked. "Completely," confirmed the chief intelligence officer. "The harvesters have suffered their first defeat in over 300 years. The recording continued. It showed humans continuing to fight despite injuries that would incapacitate most species. It showed them adapting harvester technology within days, not the centuries it should have taken. Most disturbing of all, it showed them working together across their entire planet, setting aside deep divisions in the face of a common threat." Lieutenant Vexera stood before the council, his earlier warnings now proven correct. "I observed unusual adaptability during the initial survey," he explained. "But the classification system had no category for their particular talents." "Show us your complete analysis," the council leader ordered. Vexera displayed graphs of human technological advancement. "Most species follow a predictable development curve," he explained. "Humans do not. They advance in bursts, driven by conflict and necessity. The harvester invasion created perfect conditions for explosive advancement." The council members watched with growing concern as Vexera showed humans reverse engineering alien technology, improving it, and deploying it within weeks. "How did they defeat harvester armor?" asked a military advisor. "A high school teacher created a chemical compound," Vexera replied. "A teacher, not a military scientist." Murmurs spread through the hall. Such innovation from non-specialists was unheard of. The recording showed more disturbing scenes: humans using psychological warfare, setting traps based on harvester behavior patterns, and demonstrating cooperation between different countries, professions, and ages. Even human children had contributed to the war effort. "The greatest concern," Vexera continued, "is their understanding of our technology. They've already grasped the principles of faster-than-light travel. At their current rate of advancement, they will achieve interstellar capability within months, not decades." The council leader's crystalline skin darkened with stress. "Recommendations: immediate containment," said the military advisor. "We must prevent them from leaving their solar system at all costs." "I concur," said the intelligence officer. "Their threat classification must be upgraded to extreme. Immediate containment required. No species has ever jumped categories so drastically." "Dispatch diplomat Krenlo to negotiate Earth's quarantine," ordered the council leader. "Make them believe it's for their protection while we assemble a containment fleet." What the council didn't know was that humans were already ahead of them. In a hidden facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Linda Carter and her team studied the navigation systems from the captured harvester ship. "The principles are similar to what we theorized," she told the assembled scientists and military leaders. "They're using a form of space-time manipulation that matches some of our quantum theories." NASA engineer Peter Gonzalez pointed to designs on a holographic display. "We can retrofit their engines to our ships. The prototype is already under construction." President Diane Foster, who led the newly formed Earth Defense Council, studied the plans. "How long until we have interstellar capability?" "Weeks, not months," Peter replied. "We're not building from scratch. We're adapting existing technologies." In orbit, the remnants of the harvester fleet retreated from Earth, their commander still sending urgent messages about the human threat. They had no way of knowing that Lieutenant Vexera had begun to question his own loyalty to the Galactic Council. The more he learned about humans, the more he wondered if they might represent something the galaxy desperately needed: change. As diplomat Krenlo prepared to depart for Earth with his false peace offering, Vexera made a decision that would alter the course of galactic history. He secretly copied the complete files on Council military capabilities, containment protocols, and the locations of other emerging civilizations that might sympathize with Earth. The Council had upgraded Earth's threat level too late. The humans weren't just defending anymore. They were preparing to emerge onto the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same. Diplomat Krenlo's ship descended through Earth's atmosphere with deliberate slowness. His mission was critical: delay human advancement while the Council assembled its containment fleet. His ship broadcast peace signals on all frequencies as a gesture of goodwill. Earth's defense systems tracked his approach but held their fire. This was the first peaceful contact since the Harvester invasion, and world leaders had agreed to hear what this new alien had to say. Krenlo had prepared extensively. His species could change their skin color at will, and he had adjusted his to a calming blue shade. He had studied human body language and facial expressions. He had memorized comforting phrases in 12 Earth languages. His ship landed at a neutral site in Switzerland. President Diane Foster waited with Colonel Frank Daniels, Dr. Gray Howard, and a small team of advisors. Security was tight, but not visibly threatening. "Welcome to Earth," President Foster said as Krenlo emerged from his ship. "We hope your visit marks the beginning of peaceful relations." Krenlo bowed in what his research suggested was a respectful human gesture. "The Galactic Council extends greetings to your world. We come with regret that your first contact was with the Harvesters, who do not represent our shared values." His words were perfect, his manner gentle. But something felt off to Nurse Lisa Baker, who stood nearby as a medical observer. Her job was to monitor human health during alien contact, but her 20 years of reading patients gave her another skill: spotting lies. "Something's wrong with his body language," she whispered to Colonel Daniels. "See how his inner eyelids flicker when he mentions the Council. In humans, that's like a micro-expression. He's hiding something." The meeting moved to a conference room where Krenlo presented his offer. "The Council wishes to share knowledge with Earth. We can help you recover from the Harvester attack. In exchange, we ask only that you limit your activities to your own solar system for now. The galaxy can be overwhelming for new species." Dr. Howard, who had spent weeks studying alien technology, asked pointed questions about faster-than-light travel. Krenlo's answers were vague, glossing over details that humans had already learned from the captured ship. President Foster noticed the evasions. "You seem reluctant to discuss certain technologies, Diplomat Krenlo. Why is that?" Krenlo's skin rippled slightly, a sign of stress his training couldn't fully suppress. "Some technologies require cultural preparation. The Council provides guidance based on centuries of experience introducing species to the galactic community." Lisa Baker leaned forward, watching closely. "His breathing pattern changed," she murmured, "and his skin color shifted slightly at the molecular level. He's experiencing stress consistent with deception." Colonel Daniels decided on a direct approach. He placed images of Earth's prototype starship on the table. "We're already building this. Is the Council's concerned that we're advancing too quickly?" Krenlo's composure slipped momentarily. His skin flashed a deep purple before returning to blue. "That's impressive progress, but interstellar travel requires more than engines. There are protocols, treaties, designated travel lanes." "Containment protocols?" President Foster asked quietly. The room fell silent. Krenlo hadn't used that term. The fact that humans knew it meant they had information they shouldn't possess. Realizing his mission was compromised, Krenlo attempted damage control. "The Council only wishes to prevent conflict. New species sometimes misunderstand galactic politics. We understand perfectly," President Foster said. "The Council sees us as a threat and wants to contain us. The Harvesters saw us as resources to be harvested. Neither recognized us as equals." The meeting ended shortly after. Krenlo returned to his ship, deeply disturbed. In his report to the Council, he included a warning they had never received about any emerging species. Humans possess unsettling perceptive abilities. They detect deception across species boundaries. Their intuition defies our psychological models. As Krenlo's ship left Earth orbit, Linda Carter received an encrypted message from an unexpected source. Lieutenant Vexera had made contact, offering critical information about the Council's true intentions and military capabilities. Earth now faced a choice: wait for the Council's containment fleet to arrive, or take action that would forever change their place in the galaxy. The U.S. Defiance hovered above Earth, its sleek design unlike any ship humans had built before. Part Earth technology, part adapted harvester systems, it represented humanity's first true starship. Captain Eric Jones stood on the bridge, still amazed that he had been chosen to command this historic mission. "All systems are ready, Captain," reported his second-in-command. "Dr. Carter and her team have finished the final checks on the jump drive." Eric nodded. "Tell them we launch in 30 minutes." The decision to take action, rather than wait for the Council's containment fleet, had been controversial. Some argued for patience, for more preparation. But the information Lieutenant Vexera provided had been clear. The Council was not coming to welcome Earth, but to imprison it. In the ship's science bay, Dr. Linda Carter and Sam Wright made final adjustments to the navigation system. "The coordinates Vexera provided should take us directly to the Marin system," Linda explained. "Their species has also suffered under Council restrictions. They might be willing to hear us out." "And if they're not?" Sam asked, tightening a connection. "Then we have 5 other potential allies on our list," she replied. "The galaxy is full of species who don't agree with the Council's hierarchy." The mission was diplomatically complex but strategically simple. Reach out to other species who might sympathize with Earth. Form alliances before the Council could isolate humanity. President Foster had been clear about their message: equal representation for all species regardless of technological development, a radical concept in galactic politics. As the Defiance prepared to depart, the Galactic Council was in chaos. News of Earth's rapid advancement had spread, along with rumors about their successful defense against the Harvesters. Several historically oppressed species saw potential allies in humans, while dominant powers pushed for immediate military action. "The containment fleet must launch now," insisted the military advisor. "Every day we delay gives them time to reach other systems." "With respect," countered a representative from a rim world, "perhaps we should consider why we fear them so much. They've shown no aggression except in self-defense." The Council leader struggled to maintain order as the debate grew heated. Never had an emerging species caused such division among established powers. The humans' proposal of equal representation threatened the very foundation of galactic politics, where advancement level determined status. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Vexera had made the most difficult decision of his life. After providing Earth with critical intelligence, he could no longer return to his position. His ship approached the Defiance just before its scheduled departure. Lieutenant Vexera requests permission to come aboard, the communications officer told Captain Jones. Eric hesitated only briefly. "Grant permission." Security team to docking bay, respectful but cautious welcome. When Vexera boarded the human ship, he brought more than just his knowledge of Council operations. He brought evidence of fundamental flaws in how species were classified, data that could shake the foundations of galactic governance. "Your classification as low threat was not just an error," he explained to the ship's leadership team. "It reveals the failure of our entire system. We measure technology, but ignore adaptability. We track weapons, but ignore cooperation. Earth proves the system is broken." As the Defiance prepared for its first faster-than-light jump, an unexpected communication came through. Commander Drez of the defeated Harvesters requested to speak with Earth's leaders. "This is unusual," Linda whispered to Captain Jones. "The Harvesters never negotiate." When the connection was established, Drez's message stunned everyone. "The Council will punish us for our failure at Earth. They will punish you for your success. Perhaps we have common cause against those who have used us both." Captain Jones shared a look with his officers. An alliance with the very beings who had tried to conquer Earth seemed unthinkable. Yet in the face of the Council's containment fleet, Earth needed every ally it could find. The Defiance activated its jump drive, disappearing from Earth's orbit in a flash of light. Humanity had taken its first step into galactic politics, armed with an unexpected strategy, uniting the oppressed against the powerful. The species that had been marked low threat was about to reshape the galaxy. The Galactic Council's containment fleet arrived at Earth 3 months after the Defiance's departure. It was an impressive armada, over 50 warships from the most powerful species in the galaxy. Their mission was simple: isolate Earth and prevent humans from spreading their dangerous ideas. What they found instead shocked them. Earth orbit was defended not only by human ships but vessels from 7 other species. Some, like the Marin, were known to the Council as minor players in galactic politics. Others, like the Harvesters, had never before allied with anyone. Standing together, they formed a defensive line that the Council fleet would struggle to break. The Council commander opened communications. "This is Commander Telv of the Galactic Authority. Earth has been designated a containment zone. All non-human vessels must withdraw immediately." Captain Eric Jones, now commanding Earth's small but growing fleet, responded. "This is Captain Jones of the human-led coalition of independent species. We reject your containment order." Earth's designation was based on a flawed classification system that the Council refuses to reform. What followed was not the quick victory the Council expected. The coalition ships carried technology that combined innovations from multiple species, all improved by human ingenuity. Lieutenant Vexra's knowledge of Council tactics proved invaluable, as the smaller fleet outmaneuvered the larger one. The battle lasted less than an hour. 3 Council ships were disabled, none destroyed. The coalition had made its point without unnecessary bloodshed. Commander Tell faced an impossible choice: escalate to full war or retreat. "This is unprecedented," he told his officers. They should not have been able to combine technology so effectively. "The humans seemed to be the key," his tactical officer observed. "Each species alone was manageable. Together, with human coordination, there's something else entirely." The Council fleet withdrew to a safe distance. Within days, representatives from several Council species broke ranks, withdrawing support for the containment action. The images of former enemies fighting alongside humans had spread throughout the galaxy, inspiring other oppressed species. 1 year later, the Galactic Classification Board met in its Grand Hall. The agenda had only one item: the formal reclassification of Earth. The debate had been fierce, with traditionalists arguing for maintaining the containment policy and reformers pushing for a complete overhaul of the system. The final entry was a compromise: Earth, high threat, exceptional potential. But the classification system itself was being reformed under pressure from the growing human-led coalition of independent species. In her office aboard the space station Unity, Dr. Linda Carter studied the original low-threat classification report that had started everything. Lieutenant Vexra, now Earth's official ambassador to the coalition, stood beside her. "It's hard to believe this simple error changed the course of galactic history," Linda said. Vexra's skin shifted to a thoughtful shade of green. "It wasn't just an error. It was the product of a system that measured the wrong things. You were never truly low threat. You were simply different in ways our metrics couldn't capture." Through the viewport, they watched ships from 23 species dock at the station. The coalition had grown beyond anyone's expectations. Even more surprising was that the Harvesters, once feared across the galaxy, had become trade partners with Earth, exchanging resources peacefully instead of taking them by force. "They did harvest something from Earth after all," Vexray observed. "They harvested a new way of thinking." Below them, Earth glowed blue and green against the blackness of space. The planet that had been dismissed as insignificant now stood at the center of a galactic revolution. Human ships were departing daily to establish the first colonies beyond the solar system, carrying with them the radical idea that cooperation could be stronger than domination. In a small meeting room on the rebuilt Galactic Council station, a new classification system was being drafted. Instead of threat levels, it measured potential for contribution to the galactic community. Earth served as the model case, a civilization that had turned classifications upside down. The document ended with words that would become famous across the stars: "Judge no species by what they are, but by what they might become." For the low threats of today may be the leaders of tomorrow.